we'll have some time to say hello and to get some response. But I just wanted to welcome everybody to the first meeting of Vers la Pace, See the Peace. It will be simulcast on Facebook Live and Zoom, and then I'll share the video on YouTube. My hope is to make this a regular meeting on Sundays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll discuss that at the end of the meeting. I decided to do this today because it's the Gateway Day. Gateway is the number 1111. A lot of people I know see this number all the time. And today is 11/11, November 11th. And at 11/11 today in the morning, at 11/11, it was just a really powerful spiritual moment. And I'll explain more about that in a few minutes. This meeting is to help people learn positive prayer. If you already understand positive prayer, getting together with like-minded friends to meditate and learn about spirituality. Generally, I'm not into going to groups for a spiritual experience. Well, at least lately I haven't been, but something's calling me to start this, and that something is consciousness, is God, is spirit. Our communal voice and power is much stronger than our singular power. Even the great teacher Jesus said, where two or more are gathered, there I am in their midst. There is in all of us a fleshly, mortal part which feels its weakness and sees outside into the frenetic, war ravaged exterior world with all its insufficiencies. This part of us is saying, I can't, I don't have the strength. Then at the center of our being, there's something in our highest moments of consciousness that knows itself more than a conqueror over all things. It always says, I can and I will. It is the kingdom, the Christ spirit within us that's connected to the Father of all energy and light and love and consciousness in all of the universes. We have come to this earth, one tiny piece of all the universes, for a reason. It's for this reason I come to you tonight to share my story, teach some spiritual truths, and lead you into a meditation with me about peace on earth. I believe when we set aside the part of us that is our human self and enter into a place where we're all unified in spirit, is from this subjective consciousness that we can plant seeds of peace with our prayers, our thoughts, our love, and co-creative power. We can and will allow to grow first in ourselves, then in the world. A sense that nothing outside of us can destroy this peace that is God, that is spirit, that is infinite divine mind of love within us and within everything present in all the universes. This is the voice I hope to call you from and to. This group is called Vers la Paz. In Spanish, it means see peace. We're having this meeting on a special day, 11/11, which is called a gateway number. The number 111 is considered a gateway to spiritual awakening and enlightenment. It's often referred to as an angel number. It can appear in many ways, such as you see it in a digital clock, a license plate, a receipt, or four identical objects. I see it everywhere in addresses when I go by on signs. Say that this number 111 is a sign from the universe to one, embrace your authentic self, pursue your soul's purpose, release limiting beliefs, stay on the right path, embrace opportunities, set clear intentions, maintain a positive mindset, make wishes, celebrate life. The repetition of the number one is said to amplify its energy, symbolizing new beginnings, manifestations, and the connection between thought and reality. I see it as like four pillars going straight up. So to me, this is very purposeful. My purpose indeed on this night, which I intend for us to unite in thought and mind in peace for the world. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to begin with a prayer. And then I want to share a few things. And then at the very end, then I'll open it up for some questions. And then at the very end, I want to do a meditation that's specifically based on peace, on finding peace in ourselves first and then in the world. And as we see it, as we plant that seed of peace, we can contribute to the peace of the world in a great way. So, Spirit God, our infinite presence, our divine oneness, our consciousness, soften the ground within each of us and carve out a place for your presence to abide, for your will, for your truth, for your wisdom. Take each of our talents and multiply them and use them for this same purpose. Untie the tangled webs of the past in our own lives. Untie the tangled webs of destiny in the world and in our country. Thank you, God. Empower us to create and to give what all people need to flourish in this world, to be a fountain of truth, to be a light in the darkness, to be the salt that flavors, the sugar that sweetens. Keep us from our negative human thoughts. We know that in our minds, there is the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious holding our highest power, it's combined and unified with spirit. And the subconscious holds everything we learned like a video player that has been recording us from the very beginning of time. And when we stop and listen and don't have a conscious thought, we often get bombarded by that videotape. Something, a smell, a taste, a picture, something on television will give us a thought, and that thought will take us into a spiral of ideas. And if we let our ideas go, sometimes we go into a deep place of depression. We must learn to control our thoughts. The person who controls his thoughts and her thoughts is the person who is peaceful and manages their life. And we gather here now, God, to draw us to that peaceful harmony which you are, that one unison thought, that one unison mind. And I release this intention to the one infinite creator, the source, the intelligence, the infinity, the law. So my name is Sebastian. If you don't already know me, I'm an author, a clinical hypnotherapist, and I used to spend a lot of time singing in churches. So I have kind of an interesting story to share with you that brought me to this moment tonight. You can tell my voice is a little bit hoarse. There's reason for that. About 2 years ago, almost to the day, I was driving to work and there was a moving truck in front of a stop sign. And I didn't see the stop sign, so I went right through it and T-boned a guy. My head went forward, hit the windshield, and then went back. And I fractured my third vertebra. And I was told by the doctor that if I didn't get it fixed, I was going to be paralyzed. So immediately I was getting surgery. And when they did the surgery, they had to move my larynx to the side to get, they go in from the front. If you can see it, you see a scar here. Um, so what happened was they moved the larynx, took out my fractured vertebra and put in a titanium vertebra. And when they moved the larynx back, what they didn't tell me was I wasn't going to be able to speak for a while. So I had to relearn to speak. And then I was thinking, well, what's going to happen to my singing voice? Well, it disappeared completely for a while. Then after about a year, I was able to sing about 8 notes, but all that top range is completely gone. So I've had to learn to live from a very different place. After that first spinal surgery, I had to have two more. One to relieve the nerves of the fourth, fifth, and sixth vertebra, and one to replace my sacroiliac joint and my hip, which caused me to have a lot of time to think and pray and and search for understanding. We all have purpose. I've had purpose in my life. I've always felt like I've had purpose, but there's was a special purpose going on, and I could feel that I didn't want to be incapacitated by what had happened to me. I wanted to take what had happened and make something of it. So after about 8 or 9 months of healing, I had gained like 35 pounds because I was just basically sitting around and eating. I could work maybe 2 or 3 hours a day, but I did do a lot of writing. I wrote 2 books in that time. And after that, I decided, there was a moment in time. It was like my mom, my sister Cheryl, 68 years old, my brother Mark, 70, and my dog all passed away at the same time. And I just thought, God, I could either decide right now I'm going to live the rest of my life in pain, or I'm going to believe in something greater. And I chose the latter. So what I decided to do is I decided to create a space where every morning I would get up at 6 o'clock and I would read. And I decided I was going to go back to the basics. Emily Cady from Unity, Emmett Fox from Unity, um, Marianne Williamson, um, uh, Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes. I just started Yogananda. I was reading from and of course, the Bible. And I also have a Spanish Bible readings that I was reading every morning as well. So I was reading in Spanish, I was reading in English, and then I would go out after every time I read, and I would take a walk. It started out like, going around maybe 2 blocks, and then I'd be exhausted. My heart just wasn't strong enough. But after about 2 or 3 months, I have a golf course that I live on, and I was able to walk around the whole golf course, which is 2 miles. And now, 2 years later, I'm 35 pounds lighter. Dave and I, my husband, can play tennis 3 or 4 times a week. We go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. I have very little pain. I don't have a lot of movement in my neck, but I don't have pain, and that was what was really hurting me. I would like come to a stop sign, and I would turn left. I would look to the left to see if there was any cars coming in. I literally felt like I was going to black out. The pain was so bad. And as I was standing up, just to get up, was such trauma. And now none of that pain exists, which I'm really, really grateful for. So in all of that being said, what I did was I started to learn about positive prayer, and I started to learn about um, the difference between consciousness, which I believe is spirit in its purest form, and then conscious and subconscious in each individualized form. I think when Adam was created, either metaphorically or originally, I believe that he was created as it was created as an entire being, both male and female. And that when it got lonely or wanted to share its life, it decided to break apart into male and female. And but we all continue to have both male and female in our consciousness. The male part of the consciousness, and I don't say this in any sexist way, trust me, the male part of the consciousness, just like yin yang, is the active seed planter, and the female is the birther, the female aspect of our consciousness. The subconsciousness is the birther. It's the law, the cause, law of cause and effect. So when we put thought in the subconscious mind, and when it's a communal thought, it's called the subjective consciousness. When we put thought in the subjective consciousness, it's like we're all planting this incredibly powerful seed. So what tonight I want to do after I open it up to see if anyone has any questions, I'm going to give us a meditation, and we're going to all enter into that place, and I'll be explaining a little bit about how a hypnotherapist considers meditative thought, because to me, that's really how I learned meditation. I learned to be a hypnotherapist. Then I realized all of these tools as a hypnotherapist are what we need to get to our observer self. And that's what hypnosis basically is. And self-hypnosis is basically meditation and prayer. So I'm going to open up, unmute everybody. If you're on Facebook, I cannot talk to you. Um, let's see. I'm unmuting. I think I'm muting. Try multi-speaker view. Can anybody unmute themselves on? No. Okay, let's see. This is the first time I've done this, of course. Ask all to unmute. Okay. Ask to unmute.
There you
There,
go.
there you go. I see a few. There you
Yep,
go.
there you go. It's all working now.
Okay, so great. So if you have a question, unmute yourself. If you if you don't have a question, I would say put yourself on mute so we don't hear everybody's background. Okay. So if anybody has a question, just
I'll start.
hey Daryl, what's up?
Hi, Joe. Hi, Bo. Well, I was really moved, and I know your story about your physical injury. And as a person who's so dependent on my physical body, I was just, I guess, I was wondering how that process was for you. Obviously, it's painful. You have to mourn, I think, the loss of what you thought would be, and the reality is you've kind of transmuted that into being able to be physical still and gotten through it. Although with the singing, there's parts of that that you have to accept. I just want to talk a little bit about that part of it, the acceptance part, without bitterness, without resentment. That's my question. How do we work on acceptance of the things we can't control without bitterness and resentment?
Boy, that's a great question. I think that comes from wanting one thing, peace. And when you want peace, that means you want God's will for your soul. And if what I am here doing right now is in the present moment happening, then it must be what's supposed to be happening in my life. So why would I fight it? The only thing I want to do is I don't want to ask why. I want to ask, what can I do now? I think during the time of my quietness, I was more apt to want to write because I had a voice there in my fingers, you know? So I used that voice to write. And then as I got stronger, I started to be able to do more sessions, do more healing in my work. Now I'm able to do about 4 sessions without feeling completely exhausted vocally. Does that answer your question? I think you unmute. I think you muted yourself again. I don't know. Let's see if I can unmute. I'll ask all to unmute.
There I go. So you had to go through that process to allow me to unmute again. But anyway, yes, that did answer my question. Thank you.
All right, cool. Does anybody else have a question?
I would just kind of like to add on to what she said
Okay,
and to
Joshua.
help her kind of like sit with that.
Joshua, I don't know you, do I?
No,
Have we ever
first
met?
time.
How did you find us about it? How about the?
I'm a host on Meetup.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
and so I was just kind of like searching like-minded groups.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice. Really good. So you have a group of your own as well that's similar?
I do. I do like men's mental health coaching and like spiritual guidance.
Good, excellent.
But I'm a men's focus only.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So ask me.
kind of where I wanted to add on to kind of Dale to help her. I don't know what you're going through, if it's personal, but and I think it's important for us to look at the emotions around what we're feeling and the difference and what we go through. So, like you said, 2 words like bitter and resentful.
Mhm.
I think it's important for us to like kind of look at like not looking at it as a negative, emotion and kind of getting curious about it.
What it can teach us. I think it's
What
what
am
it
I
can
bitter
teach us.
about?
Yeah.
Just really like, what
Turn,
am I bitter
turn,
about?
turn the mirror around, right?
Yeah. What am I resentful about?
Yeah.
And kind of seeing what is attached to those things. I'm bitter because I can't do what I used to be able to do. Well, what did doing what you used to be able to do? Then you go deeper with it and ask yourself, what were you getting from that?
Right.
And I think, a lot of times we realize big things like Bo, like, the light comes in the darkest of times.
Mhm.
And it does reflect back to us. So maybe we can look at like what we did, and was there authenticity in it? Or what was I seeking from what I used to be able to do?
Did it even serve me
Did
properly?
it
Maybe
serve?
it's something,
Right.
I think there is a level of letting go and trust. I mean,
Exactly.
right, with spirit, Bo, it's a journey of, am I going to hold on to what maybe isn't going to serve me anymore or never did? Or am I able with faith and trust to see what I need to learn, look at those emotions and let them go and be open to what's new and might serve me better, right? It's all about fear and
Mhm.
letting go and trust, I think,
Yeah.
for me personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Okay.
It's like trusting and surrendering into what is meant to be and what can come from.
Mm,
Everything, there's a duality to everything, and we have a tendency to focus, in on that fear around everything instead of,
yeah, hold on.
you know, because it boils down to being out of control. I'm
Hmm.
now no longer in control of my life.
That's it.
Why do I
I think
need
that's
to
the key
control
word for
my
me is
life is the
control.
question.
It's being willing to give up that control.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
love the
Think that's the
control.
key right there for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We have to figure out who and what is controlling us. If it's the
Mhm.
outside world, I don't think we're going to be successful in finding peace. I don't think there's anything outside of us that could give us real peace personally. I mean, and I think sometimes as a younger person, I know it's most of I see all the people here that are in here are mostly around my age or near my age. You kind of have to find out sometimes what you don't need, what doesn't make you happy. Like me, I had to walk that road. I remember when I was really young, I was really gifted spiritually from a very, very young time. And I started out as a minister in New York City. And I mean, I was in the ministry of healing. I could touch people and they would be healed. And, I could see things in my mind. I could hear empathic voices and stuff like that. And then at one point, when I moved to Nashville, I realized that I was I was needing someone to love me. I had been celibate for like 9 years, and I decided, it was almost like I thought I had to be not celibate. I had to turn away from spirit. And I asked God, I remember asking God, could you take away my gifts for a while I could live a human life and experience my sexuality and experience humanness. And I kind of felt like what happened was I kept gently turning away from the light, even though I still felt like the light was shining on me. And
Mm,
now after, I would say it's 12 years ago, I felt like I've gradually been moving back. And now I feel like I'm facing the light. So what I'd
mm,
like to share with you now is just a simple meditation. Um, and before I do that, I just want to say that if you're interested in continuing on with this, I think I would like to continue doing this on 10:30 Sunday mornings, Eastern Standard Time, and for like about an hour. And maybe we'll read something together. We'll talk a little bit about spirituality, talk a little bit about different ideas about spirituality, and consider some thoughts, some ideas and questions that people have, and then maybe I can take them and answer them as a clinical hypnotherapist, or I could actually research them and come back with some information the next time. But I always want to do a meditation together because I feel like the power that we have is togetherness, the power of visualizing together. And today, more than ever, I feel like what we need in this United States, in the world, is to see peace. So we're going to be in a meditation now. We're going to go to meditation. I'm going to put my video off so that you're not focusing on me after I get you settled. So find a comfortable space. And when you find that comfortable space, what I want you to do is I want you to look upward. And I want you to kind of look at the ceiling. You can relax back if you want. You don't need to be sitting erect for this. But when you lift your eyes upward, I want you to gently close your eyelids so that they're almost closed, but not closed all the way. Kind of like you can see this, like my eyelids are almost dancing. And see if you can stay in that place while I begin the meditation. With your eyes closed, avert your eyes upward, as if you're looking right out the top of your forehead. Your eyes should feel like they're blinking. You may see flashes of light. This is perfect. And with your eyes in that space, gently begin to imagine you're seeing a light that's coming from the center of your forehead. And that light is like a projector, and it's projecting an image of you resting on a chair. You can see yourself and see your body, hands, your legs. Watch yourself breathing now. without trying to manipulate your breath. Just watch it. Notice the spaces between the breaths. Notice the length of your inhales and your exhales. Notice if your breaths are anxious or calm. With your mouth closed, breathing through your nose, let's begin to manipulate the breath, to guide it. Let's think about exhaling first all of the breath, and then breathing in for 5 counts. Feeling as if you're filling up the base of your belly all the way up into your chest. And when you fill up, notice that your body naturally wants to release the breath. Your chest releases, your belly begins to drop, and then just push out a little extra air at the very end and breathe back in for a full 5 counts. As you breathe in and out, try to make a sound with your breath. So it's clear to your brain when you're breathing in and when you're releasing air. Now let's change the breathing pattern again. Let's breathe in for 5 counts. Exhale for 5 counts. And then hold the breath for 5 counts. While you're holding your breath, just let your body release. Notice as you hold your breath, your body wants to release. Follow that pattern. Then breathe back in. Filling back up all the way up into the chest. Exhaling all of the breath. And then hold your breath once again for 5 counts. As you're holding your breath, notice your shoulders relaxing, your eyes and mouth relaxing. Breathing in, exhaling, and then release. Now I want you to imagine that you could stand up, that your spirit that's watching your body can stand up and begin to observe yourself from in front of you. Imagine you're standing right in front of yourself and you can see yourself relaxing, breathing. And then I want you to imagine that you're holding a remote control in your hand. And this remote control is magical. It can turn off every part of your body. Now turn off feet. Make your feet feel as if they can't move. You're using the controller part of your brain. Really locked into the imagination to manipulate and control your body. This is part of hypnosis. It's called the observer mind. Now let this observer mind relax your legs. When in distress, fear, or lack, lift up your eyes to the heavens. Imagine in front of you an ocean scene just as the sun goes down for the day. See the reflection of its beauty on the vastness of the ocean, which looks to be limitless and wider and larger than you can imagine. Then let the sun go down in your mind and allow the sky to become dark. As the sun disappears, the stars are revealed. The multitude, the unlimited stars are revealed, like the cells of your body. Look at the difference between what you see with the sun than the absence of it. Look at what unlimited feels like and appears to be now. Even science and quantum physics projects that there are more stars and universes than we can count. Not only that, but they're continually being produced. The power, the consciousness that created all of this also created me in its image. My cells are limitless. My brain, my mind is limitless. Like this powerful presence, I can create from the womb of the darkness a world of my own choosing. The great and mighty Spirit has not only given me creative power, but has given me choice. Whatever I choose to think, to purpose, to dream, good or negative, will be born in the quiet, dark birthing place of my subconscious and then express itself in my life. So think about this. There are more stars than anyone can count. The universes are limitless. The power that created the limitless universe is pure abundance. It created this abundance through thought and word from the creative womb of the subjective darkness. All the worlds came to be. There's no lack of power, strength, and mostly importantly, in all of the universes, there's no lack of love. This same power, love, truth, wisdom, abundance created me in its image with the abilities to create love and anything else that I desire. If there is no lack in the universe, why do then I see lack in my life? It's just a mistake. I forgive anyone who's taught me that mistake, and I forgive myself for believing it. Because I've used the law and this great power to create my external world and mind and have conceived it in the darkness of my own fertile womb of the subconscious, in my sleep, and in careless thoughts. So now I change this perceived reality in my world by replacing negative thoughts with positive ones, by thinking and dreaming truth, abundance, love, power, strength, healing of the world, and wisdom, by thinking and believing that the many who need this truth come to the light. And from the subjective womb of all of our own subconscious, we will conceive and create that which we believe. Failure is neither person, place, nor thing. It is a false thought and has no truth in it. It is a belief in lack, and there is no lack. It is a belief in limitation which does not exist, except for in the human mind. Look back at the day and night skies to see what is possible, what is truly limitless abundance and creation. And remember this: Spirit created me. Spirit is in me, in my cells, dwelling within me, never failing to create what I think. It is limitless in power and creative ability. Any new thought I think erases my old story and the remembrance of any sense of lack, limitation, or want therein. Any sense of fear of failure from my memory is gone. I forgive everyone who ever taught me to think these negative beliefs and forgive myself for believing them. They were just missteps. Now look up to the unlimited heavens for my truth, for my inspiration. Whatever I see will be created in the darkness of the womb of my subconscious. I now will dream of light, love, prosperity, security, wonder, excitement, joy, happiness, power, abundance, abundant love pouring through me to all who need it. These are my truths now. Here goes forth from this word the power of the infinite. My opportunities are unlimited. There is a divine urge to express within me. It permeates me and fills all space and all people. All of my affairs are in its hands. To it are clearly visible the best ways, methods, and means for my greater expression to manifest. I leave my affairs in the hands of this principle, and I cooperate with it by letting go of my need to control it. Today, the possibilities of my experience are unlimited. The Spirit flows through me, inspiring me and sustaining this inspiration. I have ability and talent, and I am busy using it. This talent is divinely sustained in marketing under a universal plan of right action. Life lies open to me, rich, full, and abundant. My thought, which is my key to life, opens all doors for me and to me. I am one with infinity and divinity. I realize this unity. I am this unity. I proceed on my way as one who knows that God goes with him into an eternal day of infinite privilege. I have only to open the portals of my soul and accept that which is ready to express through me. Today, I fling these portals wide open. Today, I am the instrument through which life flows. Here goes forth from this word the power of the infinite. Here goes forth from this word I speak the power of the infinite. And so it is. And so, what you should be feeling right now is you should be feeling the denseness of your human body, almost as if you're feigning sleep. And the brain, since you've been using it to listen, is quiet. And since I've been asking you to imagine things, the picture part of your brain, the dreaming part of your brain is awakened. Spirit thinks in images. The human brain speaks in words. So you can always tell if you're in a meditative place, if you're seeing images, or if you're hearing words and you're deducting thoughts. That's never going to allow you to be peaceful. So you feel the denseness of your body. And if I said to you right now, you couldn't lift your feet if you tried, you probably couldn't. You couldn't lift your arms if you tried, you probably couldn't. And that's a good thing. So, what I want you to do now is visualize with me something. I want you to imagine there's a door behind you. And you open that door, and this is your world. This is the world that is in front of you. This is the world you step into every day. And I want you to see if it's cluttered, if it's clear. And the things that bother you, I want you to imagine that they're just statues and you could pick them up and move them. Relationships not working right in your life. Move it to the side. Your job's not quite right. Move it to the side. Clear a pathway for peace. Not everything in our world has to be perfect and wonderful. In fact, there's a lot of things in our daily life that's just mundane, and that's okay. But when something's impeding your peace, we have to remove it. Now, I want you to see another door farther away. I want you to walk toward it and open it. And I want you to see as if you're flying above the United States. And I want you to see the minds and the thoughts of all the people. I want you to imagine that there's good there, there's some negativity floating down toward the bottom. There's some real spiritual power rising to the top. There's intelligence. There's poverty and lack. This is all exterior. I want you to think about the minds now. And I want you to imagine that every mind is part of you. We're all breathing the same air. We're all living in the same ocean of thought. And I want you to allow yourself to float there. Float in it without resisting. Beautiful. And then imagine that you're rising up even higher and you're able to see more continents. in the consciousness of the entire world is one mind, one thought. See yourself floating in it. And now let's imagine ourselves as beacons of light. There's nothing in you that has not been created by God. Your consciousness is perfect. See the perfectness of that consciousness flowing through you as you into the consciousness, together with all the people here gathered on Facebook and on Zoom, and anybody else who's going to see this as a video later on. We're all gathered together thinking the same peaceful thoughts, seeking the same peace for ourselves and for the world. And I'm going to stay silent for a few moments. And I want you to focus in on the silence between your thoughts and the silence between your breaths. And notice the stillness. Sit in it. Gently begin to bring yourself back to your breath. I turned my video back on. If you have some questions that you'd like to have answered, and you're on Facebook watching this, you can type them in and I'll answer them. And if you have any more questions on Zoom, I'll unmute you all and I'll give you an opportunity to ask any questions. Again, I'm going to be sending out um, emails and texts to people to just let them know um, that we're here. I'm going to be sharing again on Sunday, this Sunday coming at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Anybody have any questions? Well, I'm sending you love and light. It's nice to see you all. Bye, Daryl. Bye, Lisa. Bye, Sean. Bye, Steve. Bye, Nina. Bye, AK. Joshua. Nice to see you. I'm going to sign off. I'll see you all again. Text me if you need me. Ciao. Steve.